What I'd like to do in this session is start with a meditation, and we're going to do a Vipassana practice looking for the self. Is there this autonomous me that seems to be here or not? So let's start with that practice and then we'll go back to our discussions. We begin by preparing the body. And preparing the mind, simply allowing it to come to rest in the present moment, and becoming aware of the rhythm of the breath. Now, do you have a sense that there is a me here who is trying to relax the body, and a me who is trying to focus the mind on the breath. A me that seems to exist from its own side and doesn't seem to depend on anything else to exist. Do you have this experience? Where is this me who's trying to train this body and mind? Where is the me who is trying to relax the body? Is the body simply trying to relax itself? Or is there a me separate from the body who is trying to relax the body? If there seems to be a me separate from the body who is trying to relax the body, where is this me? Don't try to intellectually answer this. Just look. And where is the me who is trying to focus the mind on the breath? Is the mind simply trying to focus itself? Or does there seem to be a me separate from the mind who is trying to focus the mind? if there seems to be a me separate from the mind who is trying to focus the mind, where is this me? Again, don't try to intellectually answer this, just look. Now, in your direct experience, what is actually here? There is the constant flow of physical change that we call the body. And there is the constant flow of mental experience that we call the mind. Yet, other than the body and the mind, what else is there here? if there's nothing more than the body and the mind here, then where is the me that possesses this body and mind? Where is the me who is relaxing the body and focusing the mind on the breath? If you can't find the me, simply rest in the experience of not finding. And even if you didn't find the me, isn't there someone who's experiencing all of this? So there is a me. But how can this me exist if we don't seem to be able to find it? The me exists as something merely labelled on the basis of the body that is sitting here and the mind that is focusing on the breath. The merely labelled me is sitting here training the body and mind. Any questions about that practice?
It's look like the observer is the me now. Experientially.
Experientially?
Like when you say the rest in the me, it's like I felt I'm resting into awareness that
Right.
watching the
Okay.
mind and the body.
Okay. But the question is, can you find the observer? That's what we're going to do this afternoon.
To feel it.
But we have a sense of me. No one's debating that. There is a sense of me. You exist.
What do you
If you
mean?
don't exist, you can't question that.
And what do you mean when you ask to find?
Exactly. That's
Ask it to what?
this is why at the beginning of the meditation, and we'll do this again in the next session, is I asked, when you're relaxing the body and focusing the mind, do you have a sense there's a me here that seems to exist from its own sides, seems to not depend on anything else to exist? Do you have that experience? And then we just rest in that sense of me. And that sense of me is really experientially, not intellectually now. We're not intellectual here. That's where often we go astray. Experientially, there really seems to be a me here existing completely on its own, no? Doesn't it? Don't you have that sense?
Yes and no.
Experientially, not intellectually. Completely experienced.
When I'm here, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Because I can
Right, but in every day, anywhere in life, don't you have a sense that there is an agent who's doing things? And that sense of an agent, doesn't that agent seem to be completely self-existent? That's what we're looking for. Because that's the me we're identifying with. And this is where most people often go astray in this practice. And that's why I asked at the beginning, do you have that experience? Just to dwell in that experience of this sense of a autonomous me somewhere here. Because that's what we're looking for, because that's the me we're identifying with. And this is where usually often people go astray. When they do the search, here comes the intellectual mind and comes up with an answer based on our belief system. And if we've studied Buddhism, the intellectual mind goes, no need to search. The me is merely labelled on the body and the mind. Well, that's not the me we're identifying with at all. So we're not looking for what we are experiencing. We're looking for something else. And so, if we've studied Buddhism, the intellectual mind goes, I know the answer. I'm the subtle mental continuum. If we have maybe a Christian background, we go, intellectual mind goes, I know the answer. I'm the soul, because that's the real me. Or if we've studied some more new modern theories, which talks about everything in the universe as being subtle energy, subtle vibration, the intellectual mind will come in and go, I know, I'm just subtle vibration, subtle energy, that's me. But I can guarantee you, when you're getting angry, you're not identifying with soul, mental continuum and subtle energy as me. I can guarantee you. So then we've gone astray in the practice. We're allowing our belief system to contaminate the experiment. It's like an empirical scientist. Empirical scientists, we need to drop all our belief systems and just look and do the experiment and not allow it to be contaminated by our prejudices and belief systems.
So it's like it was my experience I find me in my experience.
Don't you have experience? So you can't be experience if you have experience. Can you? You're saying you have experience.
Yes.
So you found yourself in the thing that you experienced.
So the answer is the experiencer.
Yeah, you're the experiencer, not the experienced. So that already discounts that you can find it there because that's the experienced. You're the experiencer, not the experienced.
Yes,
So that
understand.
discounts that.
Understand.
I kind of felt that the me is here.
Yeah, and that's not very common. And you look
It's
there,
not very common.
it is very common.
Okay, so I looked there, and then I said, okay, so, but I experienced this, so someone has to experience this. And then I said, okay, that's here. And then I felt that the me is just a combination of something here, and that's it. That's the me. I
That
found
is?
it.
You found it.
I found the me.
And that me you found, what qualities did it have? Did it have physical qualities?
Physical qualities.
It was physical.
And conceptual qualities.
Like what? What physical quality?
Constructions, something solid. Here, physical sensation.
Right. So there's no me here then.
No,
You don't. That's not part of you.
no.
It's not?
Uh,
Because it's not there. It's here.
Actually, I know that everything is like a part, but if I try to find the me,
Right.
then it goes to the center.
And that's because we that's the core of the body.
Yeah.
But if that's me, if this is me, it means everything else is not me. Does that make sense? That's not me because this is me.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of, if we find something, we have to ask these sorts of questions.
Yeah.
You know, if the me is here, that means that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. Or if the me is here, that's not me.
Okay.
No?
I kind of felt that it's a combination, and I couldn't, experientially, I couldn't get away from that.
Yeah, because it's because our intellectual mind is coming in. That's why we need to leave the intellectual mind out and just look. But we'll talk more about this in the next session.
It's like everything.
Sure. Okay, let's go back to where we left off. I want to add things a bit more here. We said that the assertion here in the Mahayana, in the Perfection of Wisdom teachings from the Buddha, is that things are not independently existent, i.e. they're empty of inherent existence because they're dependent arisings. And dependent arising means coming into existence dependently. So things exist depending on causes and conditions, parts, and then labelling or designation conception. All these words mean the same thing. So we saw here that labelling is not the fact that there's a thing there we're calling a laptop. The labelling really means we are creating objects by drawing lines around various collections of data and creating meaningful objects and then giving